Welcome back to the Film Cynics on CFAX 1070. Steve and Brian sitting in on a Sunday afternoon talking movies, TV, and pop culture.
Who wants a DVD review?
The movie is Machete. It stars Danny Trejo, and you wouldn't believe the other people that are in this movie. It is I've dubbed it a Mexploitation film, and deals with issues of, illegal aliens and homeland security and racism and those kinds of things.
Really interesting how this movie came to be, because a few years ago, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did the Grindhouse series of two films, Planet Terror and Death Proof. And in between the two movies, they made a bunch of fake movie trailers for things that they would want to see, or they had their friends like Eli Roth made one about just exploitation type films, like over the top ridiculous. Robert Rodriguez made one called Machete, and it starred Danny Trejo as this Mexican killer who had machetes and would cut people's heads off and fly through the air on a motorcycle. And you watched it and you laughed and thought, it'd be such a great movie. Cut to 3 or 4 years later, there it is on the big screen, Danny Trejo with a machete cutting people's heads off.
Yeah, see, for me, it seemed like the genesis was, if we had a movie that starred Danny Trejo, what would that movie be? Well, it would be this Machete thing.
Yeah.
So you see that, and then, well, hey, why not? Why not go the whole way and actually make that movie? What I didn't expect, and I guess what nobody could have expected, was that all these people would be jumping on board to be part of it. So
it's a little carried away with the cast.
Not only does it have Jessica Alba and Michelle Rodriguez as sort of the two other ladies in the film, it's got, let's see, Steven Seagal,
Cheech Marin, Jeff Fahey, Don Johnson, and
a non-cameo appearance, because he's a full-out role in here, a starring role.
Robert De Niro.
Unbelievable. And you know what? Robert De Niro, he was the second pick for this. They approached Chris Cooper to have his role, and Cooper read the script and he's like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going in this.
But De Niro will do it.
I think De Niro had some kind of revelation in he dealing with his cancer battle, and that he had some kind of second thinking about how he approaches the roles that he takes.
Maybe sometimes you just want to have fun.
And that actually is what he said. He approached it from a more of having a fun kind of sense.
Yeah.
And there are some scenes that he's in this, like when he's got to sort of monkey walk his way out of a chair that he's tied to. He's sort of got to hop along, and that's Robert De Niro hopping along with his hands tied together, or his crazy getting caught in the electric fence scene, or any number of things that he does. And just thinking, really?
It's a really interesting film because there is a plot. Don't get us wrong. It's about Machete gets framed for the assassination attempt on this president or a senator or something. So now Machete's a wanted man, and he gets tied up with all these other villains and gangsters and the corrupt cops and politicians and all this other stuff, and he's trying to clear his name and along the way killing a bunch of people. And there's a little more to it than that. I don't want to get into the entire story. But I really enjoyed it. I had fun. You have to go into it knowing what it's about, knowing that it is a B movie and that it's kind of stupid and ridiculous.
Yeah. And
that it's based on a fake trailer. With all that in mind, you just kind of have to go in and have a good time and watch Michelle Rodriguez be kind of super sexy. And Jessica Alba being really hot.
Well, now let me ask you a structural question. Is it a spoiler if I'm revealing something that never takes place in the film?
I guess not.
Okay. Well, I thought that it was going to wind up that Jessica Alba, I thought the whole time Jessica Alba is his daughter. That was going to be this big reveal at the end.
Really, I never thought that.
Because they allude to the fact that they're going to kill his daughter at the beginning of the movie, and then you never hear about it again. And they have this and so she's this really strong female character, and they have this interesting relationship, the two of them. But it seems pretty platonic. Like when he's going to totally bed her, he beds everybody else. He doesn't, and she says, "What a gentleman." I'm like, okay, there's something there. And then at the end, they're making out, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Guess not.
I mean, just in a movie that takes all of these cliched turns and twists, I thought that one would be in there, and it wasn't. It was it was a little disappointing, to be quite honest.
Really? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm sorry the movie disappointed you.
It did not disappoint me in that Steven Seagal was awesome in it.
Steven Seagal was awesome.
He's lost a little bit of weight. I think being a sheriff's deputy really works for him.
Yeah.
And I think that... altogether, this is Mexploitation in that it sort of takes a lot of Hispanic stereotypes and Hispanic movie stereotypes, but as far as movies about Mexico that should be stereotyped over the last, say, 10 or 15 years, they're all Robert Rodriguez's. So really, Robert Rodriguez is lampooning his own films in this film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just kind of strange.
I don't. This is one of those movies where I'm so glad it was made, but I never thought it was necessary.
No.
You know, like I was never really hoping that they would make Machete into a movie when I saw the trailer, but the fact that they did, I'm like, all right, cool, way to go. Like that's another something fun to watch. But I was never dying to have it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but they only made it for $10.5 million. That's the entire production budget. Robert Rodriguez can make movies really cheaply, apparently. I guess when you direct, write, edit, do all the post-production yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Cuts down on everything.
Him and his wife do all the editing. It's got some interesting special features, one of them being an audience reaction track. Now, if you ask me, it's probably was recorded in like the early days of the screenings of it, because you can tell because people are cheering when the 20th Century Fox thing comes up. And who does that? You do that maybe at a premiere.
Yeah, and it's probably in Austin, too.
So, yeah, it's an interesting little addition. So as you're watching it, all the audio's clean, but you also have people cheering and laughing in the background as the movie's going on. It's an interesting little addition.
That's kind of cool.
Rodriguez has done it on a couple other films, I believe. It just sort of sweetens it up and turns it into more of a theatrical experience.
I also love in this movie how Danny Trejo is like the ultimate sex symbol.
Yeah, man, that guy's ugly.
But if you look at Danny Trejo, yeah probably not.
And I don't know if anybody is aware of this. I wasn't aware of this until like last night. Danny Trejo, Robert Rodriguez, they're second cousins.
Wow.
And they didn't know that until they were making Desperado. Yeah, Desperado.
That's so cool.
All right, well, what are you going to give it, buddy?
I'm going to give it a definite renter. It's a fun movie. It's one of those exploitation type films. It's violent. It's nudity. It's lots of swearing, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it has Danny Trejo's 3 Bs, bullets, blood, and babes, as he says. And yeah, I'd give it a renter as well. It's definitely good for like a party time, fun time when you're really looking just for sheer gratuitous everything.
Yes, exactly.
All right, well, it came out a little while ago from our friends at Fox, but you can pick it up at stores right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're doing Vault Picks and Trailers. Stay with us.